something that I failed to realize for the longest time was that when you set a goal and you commit to that goal, you're not actually, you're committing to the process. You're setting the process, not the end result. You're not committing to the end result. You don't get the end result. You have to commit to the process. And the reason this is important, I'll pretty much distill it down, is because if you think in your head about the goal result, you will get a dopamine rush, because the reason you set the goal is because you liked it. Let's say it's make 100K, let's say it's get abs or get a girlfriend, whatever. You're gonna think about that and feel happy. And the reality is, when you're working towards goals, you're in the process, and the process typically, until you've developed yourself, does not feel as good as thinking about the result that you want. So I've scripted this video out a little bit, and I'm going to reference it. So basically what I said here is what I just said. When you think about the end result, but you're in the process and it doesn't feel quite as good, you'll be discouraged and you'll be more likely to quit. Now, when you commit to the goal, let's say it's make 100K. And for ease of explanation, I'm going to go from the perspective of a salesman, because if you're doing it any other way, you've got all these moving parts, including save everything. If you have to buy something, buy it cheap or find it free or do it yourself, blah, blah, blah. If you're a salesperson, you're trying to earn 100K, you have to do X amount of sales to get your 100K. And when you're doing those sales, they do not feel nearly as good as sitting there imagining that 100K in your bank account. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is because a lot of people, that's a form of meditation. It's visualization. And when you're visualizing something, you're basically training your brain on how to think about it. Now, visualization of an end result can be good for motivation. However, I hope if you're watching this video, you already know that motivation is fleeting and discipline is not, so long as you keep it and maintain it. And the reason I bring this up is because in the past, myself, I have thought about an end result or a goal, and I'm like, wow, I want that. Yeah, I'm going to get that, and I get good feelings. Then I start the process, and it does not feel anything like imagining the end result. And I get discouraged, and it either halts my progress or it slows it. Now, if I had started and said, yes, I want this, but that means I have to do all of these things, and instead of just imagining the nice sugary part of the end result, I'm actually imagining all of the hard stuff. I want to bulk up, I want to put on strength and size. Okay, well, that's all nice, but what that looks like is 100 consecutive workouts, sleeping 8+ hours a night, eating probably 180 to 200 plus grams of protein a day. That is not as easy, not as sexy, not as motivating as thinking about, oh, but imagine if I got this big, or was this strong, or was this fast at running, or could do this many pull-ups or muscle-ups, whatever it is. But imagining that is not going to get you to that specific goal, that idea, that dream. And a lot of people talk about manifesting it. Manifesting is a result of the process completed over and over, compounding until you get to your goal. And that's one of the next things I was going to talk about, is your non-negotiables. So when you commit to, we're just going to use the 100K example again by sales. When you commit to 100K, let's just say you make 500 a sale for ease of math. That's 200 sales. You need to make 200 sales to reach your 100K. Well, what do I have to do to get one sale? Okay, I have to do 10 outreach calls. That's probably pretty good, but Let's just call it 10. I do 10 outreach calls, most of them crap on me, and then 1 I sell. Okay, well that doesn't feel as good as imagining the 100K, like I said, but doing that block of 10 calls is a non-negotiable. Or let's say it's 100 calls to make 1 sale worth $500. Do 200 sales calls a day. That's a non-negotiable. And there are plenty of salesmen, influencers on the internet that say, I did 200 or 300 calls a day. I did double what anyone in my office was doing. That's their non-negotiable, because the non-negotiable ensures success. If you stay disciplined to the non-negotiable, you will make it. So for example, non-negotiable, I eat X protein, I sleep X hours, I lift X amount of times a week, and I do this on my workout. If every day, no matter what, I just do those things, I don't have to worry about anything else. And I talk about this in my Discipline is Freedom video, or why I believe discipline is freedom, actually. And when you're doing it that way, every day that you just, by the skin of your teeth, complete your non-negotiables, you cast 1 brick onto the building of the goal, or even just, let's call it a drop of water into a pot that you're trying to fill. And once, for however many days it takes, you complete your non-negotiables, you're putting drops of water into that pot. Eventually that pot will overflow, and you can liken that to your success. Or that building will be complete after X days of completing the non-negotiables. So another example I had is the gym. Hit the gym on your designated days, giving each workout your all. It casts 1 block onto the goal physique. And once you've done that, so you filled the pot basically, and it overflows and manifests into the goal you were striving for. If you miss a day, okay, you missed a day. That doesn't hurt so much, but missed days here and there add up. Because if you're supposed to lift 350 days out of the year, let's say, for easy numbers, and you miss 1 lift day a week, that's 50 days at the end of the year. So essentially you've missed a 7th. So you could have been a 7th more ahead. That's painful, to say the least, when the time has passed. So if all you're thinking about, I already talked about this one, is the end result, you'll just get a dopamine rush, imagining that result, and you won't reach your goal. Because when you work out, you'll think, wow, this is not the feeling I got when I was imagining it, so I'll probably never get there if this is how I feel compared to what I imagined it feeling like. And you can imagine it feeling the proper way and make your win, but if you imagine it the improper way, the sugary way, you won't. So, summarized, make sure when you create a goal, you visualize exactly how the process will feel. And then you make sure you're throwing those building blocks on every day so that you can see the dream realized in this reality. If you're not complete, so here's the thing. If you don't decide what the goal is, and I don't think that you shouldn't visualize the end result, because that can get you hyped up and be like, you know what, I like this feeling. I want to make this feeling real, not just in my head. So you do that, but then you make your process and you imagine how that process feels. I wake up at 5 every day. I get out of bed. I drink a cup of water. I throw my gym clothes on. They were set out the night before. I hit the gym. It sucks. It's the middle of winter. It's 20 degrees. It's 10 degrees, whatever outside. I go to the gym. That is the feeling you need to embrace, because that is the reality. And at the end of that feeling and that reality is that sweet, sugary feeling that you imagined when you first set the goal. But if you don't embrace that process, then unfortunately you will never embrace the goal. And this is a video to my past self. I've done a lot of door-to-door sales. Frequently, I would go before the summer started, because it's a summer thing. I'd be like, wow, it's going to be so nice when I make X amount of money. and I come home and I can buy this, this, and this, and I can invest this much and all these things. Then I get to the doors and it's a grind. And the doors already kick you in the mouth. They kick you in the mouth harder if you were expecting it to feel how it did before the summer when you were imagining the money. So this is just my advice to my past self. Take it or leave it. If you made it this far, honestly, I would love a comment to see which of my subscribers are making it this far. And if you are someone that made it this far, please let me know what you liked. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know maybe a different topic you'd like to see me discuss. And I appreciate your support. I will see you in the next one.